Danilo Marques versus Jilton Almeida. We got minus 425 on the Contender Series alum Jilton Almeida and plus 320 the return on Danilo Marques. Now, Marques is coming off a loss to Kennedy Nzechukwu last time around in a fight where he was doing pretty well in the first two rounds. The first round, he was able to hop on the back of Kennedy Nzechukwu and tried sinking in a rear naked choke, but managed to get close to 4.5 minutes of control time in that first round as he hung off the back of Kennedy Nzechukwu for the majority of that round. Then in the second round, managed to get the fight back into a similar position, got his back, got him on the ground, all of that, but still was not able to finish the submission. And then ultimately in the third round, Kennedy Nzechukwu opens up with some big shots and then ultimately finishes him via standing TKO. But in prior fights, he's always managed to get the fight to the ground, always managed to get the fight into his realm, and he's either able to control his opponents en route to a decision or find that submission, which is, obviously a lot better than going the full 15 minutes. Jilton Almeida, on the other hand, not a lot of tape out there on him, but the tape that we do see is he's clearly a grapple-heavy fighter. Likes to get the fight to the ground similar to Danilo Marques and tries to wrap up a submission or get a ground and pound TKO. There were some certain spots in a couple of those fights that I was able to see where he gets a little bit overzealous and loses position, either, ride in too high or too aggressive for a submission or something like that. And that causes him to lose that position and ultimately, getting his opponent to get the better position. But luckily for him, he's able to get back to his feet and get back to where he wants it and then get back to the ground and get to that jiu-jitsu work, which is probably what he's best at. The majority of his wins, pretty much all of them, have come in the first or second round. I believe he's only ever been to one decision in his career, and he ended up losing that night to Bruno Assis. I don't really understand the giant line here, right? I've been a guy that's always tried to fade Danilo Marques in the past. It hasn't really worked out certain times, but I feel as though this is a spot where you got to take advantage of him in this plus 300 realm. Well, yeah, of course, Jilton Almeida deserves to be the favorite, given that he has a 6-year youth advantage, as well as, being the slightly more athletic and explosive guy. But the fact that he's not really a striker, like his striking still needs a little bit of work in my opinion. But if he had more of a striking game, I'd be a little bit more concerned for the Danilo Marques side. But he's a grapple heavy fighter, right? He wants to get this fight to the ground and he wants to try to use his jiu-jitsu. He's going to be going up against a guy who's probably just as good, if not better than him in the jiu-jitsu realm, and a bigger dude as well. So if he gets overzealous in certain spots, Marques is absolutely going to take advantage of that, and he could absolutely just grind this fight out from on top, especially being the bigger and heavier guy in this spot. So I don't see why not to take a shot here on Danilo Marques. I see a lot of people, they see the physique of Jilton Almeida. They see that he beat an Ov in his last fight on the Contender Series, but there's some things that he leaves to be desired that I feel like a guy like Danilo Marques could absolutely take advantage of. So I do like the Danilo Marques side here. I saw his decision prop is hanging around plus 600, plus 700. I think that's worth a little bit of a poke, as I don't know if you'll be able to get Jilton Almeida out of there. Again, the cardio aspect of Almeida's game is still up in the air, considering he doesn't normally see a third round, but when he has the one time in his career, he ended up losing that fight. But if this does go the full 15 minutes, I wouldn't mind having that plus 300 ticket or even that prop at plus 600, plus 700 on Danilo Marques. Again, on the feet, I feel like Almeida is more more show than substance than anything. Throws a lot of, heavy strikes, but not really any combinations. And it just seems like he's swinging for the fences. But I feel like that's something that Marques could counter with a takedown of his own, or even get into a clinch position and try to get the grappling going as well. So I expect this fight to play out on the mat for the majority of it. And if that's the case, this minus 400 line on Almeida is completely wrong, in my opinion. Maybe not wrong to the extent that he should be the underdog. I'm not saying that at all. He deserves to be the favorite, but at minus 400 is absolutely crazy. So I'm actually taking Danilo Marques in this spot. I'm going to take him to win this fight by decision, and he might be busting some parlays. I don't want to be caught, betting minus 400 on a Contender Series alum who might be all hype at this point. So official prediction is going to be Danilo Marques via decision.